Okay, everyone, welcome to Zine Club. Today we have our special guest zine maker, Bill, and I'll let you introduce yourself and your work with zines. And thank you for donating your zine to the zine collection here at Palisades Branch Library. We have it circulating with the barcode and location code. Anyone could check it out with their
Oh, that's
library
cool.
card.
Right on. Well, that's exciting. Yeah, I can I kind of was gonna do like one long intro about how my kind of life was intertwined with zines and just being creative and making things and stuff. So my name is Bill Sannwald. As Ziba said, I am or I don't know, she didn't say, but I will say that I am a senior librarian with the City of Carlsbad Library. And beyond that, I am just some average guy. I have a wife and two kids. I have six cats, two dogs, just a bunch of animals. And I love all kinds of creative stuff. My big vice is on Friday nights, I like to get super caffeinated and play video games, listen to records, and read, and do all kinds of wild stuff like staying up till 11 p.m. So look out. So I wanted to talk a little bit today about my history with zines and beyond, but I also love to be conversational. So as things come up that you want to talk about, feel free to uh, put a chat. Um, let's see. I was just looking at the chats, but I was nothing there. So all right, let's get started. So a little bit about me. I mentioned I'm a librarian, I'm a dad, video game fan. I love writing and doodling and creating things. Um, that's my version of me that I like to draw. So in the journaling book, which is the newest zine that I have created, that you'll see me as one of the characters in there, but two of the main characters are the pencil and the clock, who represent like time and writing and journaling and the passage of time and everything. So they're there with me in the illustration. Um, so where did it all begin? I don't know if any of you remember this guy, Commander Mark. He had this show. It was like on I want to say it was on PBS or one of the local cable accesses or something. But he was like the awesomest guy, and he came to my school, and he wore this outfit that he's got on right here, where he had like crayons all down his arm that were like at the ready at any moment. And he used to draw this thing called the Secret City, and it was like the coolest thing in the world. Like I just remember I would watch his show, and like every week he would add to the city, and he'd be like, "Oh, let's draw a little house for our people here." And it was so cool, and it made me want to create books as a kid. So my mom was a administrative assistant at San Diego State University, and she was able to get me a whole bunch of scratch paper that she would bring home. So I would create basically these protozines when I was a kid, about all the stuff that I was into. So I would create like Star Wars books and Indiana Jones books and things. I was really inspired by like writers like Roald Dahl, and like I loved like the BFG, and so I created basically these copies of all these great things that I loved, and would staple them. And I just loved like making books, and I still have a bunch of them at home somewhere. And it was just like really this cool thing that I fell in love with, was creating things. So from there, I think I developed as an artist and writer just as time went on. When I was in high school, I was on the Royal Page newspaper. My high school just celebrated its 30th reunion. I did not go because I went to a wedding on Saturday night, but I was able to vicariously live through the power of Facebook and look at everybody's photos and stuff. And I think everybody looks the same, except somehow I'm like 30 years older, and I don't know how that happened. But anyway, I used to draw comics about friends, and when I was in high school, I got really into journaling. So I really love journals, and I'll get back to that in a minute. Um, but one of the things I love about journals is I really think it's almost like creating a zine for yourself. Um, it's depending on how you do it. You can sort of like I do a lot of doodles, or sometimes I'll like tape things in or glue things into them, like ticket stubs and things like that. And it's just really a fun process. Um, I sort of took a break in college. but I kept up with my journaling, and I had a roommate named Tully who was this really cool guy, and he wrote for the college newspaper, The Koala. So I went to UCSD, and if any of you are familiar with the Koala, it went through some like big controversy. I'm old. I'm 150 years old, so that was before my time. Um, I was there when it was just kind of a slightly offensive newspaper, and I would do some writing for it. Like he would come into my room and be like, "Hey, we need to fill up like 3 pages." So I do like top 10 lists and all kinds of just like nonsense. And again, it was so cool to like circulate that because it was like this little kind of rebel newspaper that like pushed against the norms of the college and made fun of things. And it was just cool. Like every time to see somebody reading it, I'd be like, they're reading the page that I wrote. Like that's so cool, you know? So even though I was hibernating from doing a lot of creative projects, I was still trying to keep my hand in the game. Post college, I actually found a lot of time and place to do writing and connecting with people online. So like the early aughts, if you will, was a pretty cool time for if you're into nerdy things like I am, like video games or pretty much anything else. Like I had a Zanga blog about video games, and there's a site called oneup.com. Um, Not to be confused with the amazing One Up magazine by my friend Raina, but oneup.com, it was you could have your own blog and interact with other people, and it was really cool. And I got into writing reviews for this other site called Neo Geo Pocket, Sector Neo Geo Pocket. And yeah, I was doing a lot of writing online, but I kind of found this dissatisfaction with like how temporary the internet was. Like you would put something up, and for a little bit it would be like interesting, and then like a day later no one would be looking at it, and they'd be looking at what's new, and there just was this lack of permanence to doing that, which was both disappointing but kind of cool because it was like you if you wrote something embarrassing, like people forgot about it pretty quickly. But I don't know, I wasn't finding a lot of satisfaction with it, so I was looking for some new way to really kind of take my love of everything all together and put it into one spot. And that's when I came up with this zine called Game Time with Mr. Raroo. So Raroo was my niece's term when she was a little girl for an elephant. And I created this character named Mr. Raroo, who is on the left, and there he's there with Mrs. Raroo, who's my wife. And it was just really awesome. We decided one day, like, let's make a zine and just see what happens. It actually stemmed from our friend Asa wanted to do a website called My Knee Hurts. And we were like, it doesn't sound that fun or whatever. But I wrote a couple things for it. And I said, I love what I wrote. Let's put it into like a book format, like a little like miniature book. And so we made a little zine where we like printed everything out at home and stapled it. And we even um, had subscribers, which is really cool. We started sending out to zine libraries. I met some other zine artists. There's this one amazing artist named Jay who I've been in touch with since, gosh, 2006, and she had a zine and she worked for SDSU library and was overseeing the zine collection there. So I just met like all these awesome people that were doing zines. Like at the time, some of the other zines out there were like the Gamers Quarter, and I mentioned One Up Magazine, and gosh, there were just some other ones. Toasty Frog, that was a pretty cool one. So I started getting into like all these like little like gaming zines and stuff. Um, but then I went back to the online because I felt like people were saying like, "Oh, I want to get a copy of it," and I was like, "Well, I've already like run out of copies." So I put everything up on an online archive and told people like, print it and staple it and make it yourself. So that the website that I shared at the beginning of the slide, which I'll share again, has everything on there. So if you're feeling like you really want to go read about video games and how they tie in with like my larger life and filter in eventually with becoming a parent and everything. It's a fun little thing you can do to maybe as part of your zine club today. Who knows? Um, So I mentioned going back online, putting the zines back onto the kind of the web archive. Parenthood was a big reason for this. Is I just got really busy as a parent. My kids now are 17 and 14, but when they were little, it was just like, wow, this is hard to find time to do creative things. Full-time work was also something that gets in the way sometimes. Props to Ziba for working zine making into your everyday work. I think that's so fun. I've found ways to do things like that at working for the library as well over my career. It's a really great way to connect to people and be creative. Um, but I found some ways to still kind of keep my hand in the gaming world, in the zine world, and I wrote for a couple websites. One called Game Set Watch, which I basically took my zine and put it into a digital format, and I did a column for them. And then I did another website called Game Sugar, and did reviews, and got to go to E3, which, if you're a video game nerd, like back in the day, was amazing. They had all the big companies there, and they would like show off all the games that were coming out, and that was really cool. But just being busy, I kind of fell out of things for a little bit. I didn't like stop entirely though. One of the things I did was I mentioned library programs, so we did like some drawing programs and comic programs and zine programs, and I would make a lot of little zines for fun. So in the picture here, this is a little, I don't know if you've ever made a zine in this format where it's like one page and you make a little 8-page zine out of it, where you, yeah, I'm sure you've probably done this. Um, at your Zine Club, but I did this particular one when I left one library system to go work for a different library system. And instead of doing like some type of like goodbye email or something, I made a little zine and handed it out to people as my goodbye. And that was a lot of fun. And I still have people who will like bring it up, like, oh, I still have it, and like send me pictures of it and stuff, which is really cool. And I just did a lot of little zines for fun. So like for our Christmas card, my wife and I made a couple little zines and things that we included and sent out. Like things like when our kids were little, like their favorite things of the year, and like top 5 toys and things like that. And so instead of including like a letter with our Christmas card, we would put in a little zine instead. So that was a fun way to do things. And then just doing that like was a way to keep my love for like creativity alive while um just not having a lot of time at the same time. I always like to stay creative, so I have kept a daily journal for on and off journal for since I was in high school, and a daily journal since like 2002, where I haven't missed a day. um I mentioned the one-off zines. I started making web comics. So this is one of my web comics that I did, and it actually started as I have these friends who do like a lot of cool creative stuff. So if you ever go to WonderCon or Comic Con, if you look for a booth called Toshworks, they have a bunch of zines and little comics and things. And I did they have a character named P-Bert, and I did a whole series of 4-panel comics based on the character P-Bert for them. And I got inspired, and I'm like, man, panel comics are so cool. I started doing this one called Bug Boss, which is based on my experience as being a supervisor working in libraries and just being a human being. And Bug Boss is kind of a lovable loser. He sometimes gets some wins. But like this one, like Bug Boss created his comic book. He's super excited. It's called Manager Man. He's like, people are gonna love it. I'm sure of it. He goes to the comic convention. It's on sale, and by the end of the day, nobody bought one, and he's trying to give it away for free, and no one is even taking them. So poor Bug Boss. But I I've been known to do a lot of drawing at work. You can kind of tell like whatever library system I work for, because I do a lot of doodles and notes and pass them around. And so like around the workspace, you'll be like, oh, Bill's been here. Um, like I just have a tendency to kind of spread like a virus, if you will. I started doing some experiments of comics in color. So I created a one panel comic called Burger, and everything was like blank Burger. So this particular one is like, you forgot your umbrella, Burger. And there's Burger in the rain, all wet, feeling sad. Um, but again, I was feeling kind of like that temporary nature of the internet. Like I'd put stuff up and it would be on Twitter or tapas.io or sites like that. And you would get some engagement like the day it goes up, and then after that, like nothing. So I said, like, well, this is kind of not that satisfying, and I kind of fell out of doing it. And part of that is I became busier and busier. So here's Bug Boss reading a book and just celebrating the fact that he finished the book. And that became kind of my life for a while. I was really busy just working, and um, the only thing I really had time for that I squeezed in my day was journaling. And again, I consider journaling to be kind of be like personal zine making. Like someday my kids are going to inherit my journals, and it has their whole lives in them. It's got everything from when they're born to celebrations to sad times and all those things. Um, so I think art making is definitely something you need to do for self-care, and you need to carve out some time each day, focusing on the process and not the results. Um, this drawing is from a something about journaling that I actually did for American Library Association, one of their blogs. I just did like a short little article about how I think journaling is great. So it's the famous Drake meme, and people see me and they think I'm like this dude that's into like sports and beer and stuff, and it's like, I'm into like creating cute journals and books and things. So that's my jam. Um, Out of nowhere, I was struck by inspiration, and I said, I am going to do a whole new zine about my love for journaling and kind of combine it all into one thing. Um, I called it the journaling book because it's a little bit thicker than the other zines I was doing, and I just felt like I liked that title. But it really is just a staple zine that I created that I took to the copy place and ran off and had it stapled and everything. Um, a big part of that was to relieve myself from work stress. I was working a really stressful job. I took a year off from libraries and worked in uh, the water department for the city of San Diego, overseeing their call center, which was a trip. That was a very different experience, and I came back to libraries pretty quickly. But while I was there and I was feeling really stressed, I said, let me do something like creative that allows me to kind of let off some steam. My kids were getting older, so I had a little more free time. Like I wasn't like changing diapers and taking them to preschool and stuff. Like my son is very very cool and likes to play online games and stuff, and he's just like, all right, Dad, I got this. I'm in my room on my headset, and stuff. And so I was missing my zine making days, so I worked on this with my wife. She did all the layout for me. I drew and wrote everything. She laid it out and got it ready to go, and we had it printed up. And I just threw a tweet out into the world, and a whole bunch of people like reached out and paid for a copy, and I was like really stoked about that. Like random people, and it made the post office person really stressed out because I came in with like 50 envelopes one day to mail to, and he's like, what are you doing to me? But yeah, it was awesome. um so now what am I doing? And then we'll get into some discussion because I'm curious about all of you. But I'm still doing my daily journaling and doodling. I'm just kind of going with the flow, and I'm not worrying about having to create anything. I'm just making things as time comes up. So I'm doing lots of I have like at my desk, somebody gave me a this awesome little box of cards that when you scribble on it, they're all black, and then underneath is color. So as you scribble on them, it takes off the exterior and leaves the color underneath, like a rainbow color. So I love handing those out to people on their birthdays and things like that. So I'm just trying to practice like bug bosses here, where you just happy to be alive and happy to be breathing. So that's kind of where I am now. I'm going to end the slideshow and stop sharing, I think, if I can stop sharing. There we go. So that's about me and kind of my whole intertwined history of creativity and zine making and yeah, and that website, if you, I'm going to put it into the chat, if anybody's interested in checking it out, is this Club Raroo. Um, yeah, it was a lot of fun to, and every now and then I'll put a blog post or something up there. But yeah, that is me. Um, does anybody have any questions, or can I ask questions of you?
Both. Did you take your zines out to Zine Fest ever?
I've never gone to Zine Fest. I meant to a couple times and I just never did it, but I've sent zines to different libraries and different places and somebody so I amazingly got to visit Nintendo a few years ago, which as a video game fan was like a dream come true. Got to visit their headquarters, and the guy who I have no idea how this happened, but the guy who showed me around is like, there's somebody who works here who has all of your zines like on their desk, and I was like, really? How is that possible? So I don't know where they got them from, but they must have printed them out or something, and yeah, so. That was pretty cool. But yeah, I should check out Zine Fest. I think it'd be fun to have a booth or just go and buy a bunch of cool stuff. The closest I've come is going to the Alternative Press Expo. I don't know if you've ever attended that, but I got a bunch of really cool, like handmade stuff. My favorites are like Jason Chiga did some really cool like books. If you've ever seen them, like there's one called Meanwhile, but originally he had done them where he cut out all the pages and bound them, and it was eventually made into like a a published book, but it was like all done by hand, and you follow kind of like a choose your own adventure type thing where you follow different lines, and you physically like track your finger along the line and move the pages, and it's awesome. So I think I would just go bananas if I got to check out Zine Fest.
And when you say journaling, is that like scrapbooking?
Kind of. I think there's so many ways you can do it. So I keep a number of journals. I have like a gratitude journal. I have a what I call a thank you journal where I make myself say something positive to myself every day. So like I'll just, even if it's like thank you for bringing your lunch instead of buying junk for lunch, or something like that. I have like my regular traditional journal that I will sometimes like kind of scrapbooky, like paste stickers or movie tickets or things into it. But then I also do like a video journal using this app called 1 Second Every Day, which is really cool. If you've never heard of it, I definitely recommend it. You basically just capture a second of your life on video every day and mash it all up. And I do it on a monthly basis, and I have it going back to 2015. So I see my kids when they're little up through now when they're big, and just things happening at work or in my personal life or my pets being cute or whatever it may be. So I do a multitude of things. Let's see, is the rest of your family constantly creative like you? Pretty pretty much. My wife is absolutely amazing. She is also a librarian, but she's a high school librarian. So she's doing like all this cool stuff in her library that it's like this wonderland if you ever go visit her school and check out what she's done there. Um, and she oversees like is basically a zine. They do like she's with the Readers and Writers Club, and they do a publication each year where they put in like poetry and drawings and stories and things, and they compile it, and she compiles it all together and gets it printed up, and it's really cool. My kids are pretty creative. My son's a big artist, likes to do doodling and drawing and stuff. And my daughter, her artistry came out through makeup. She's 14, but from the age of like 2, all she wanted for any birthday or holiday or anything was makeup or a vanity set or all kinds of things like that. So that's like her jam is um like she's just really into like the artistry of painting yourself, kind of in a way. Let's see. Yeah, Amanda, thank you. I like that you felt my story was wholesome and feel good. Um, I think that there's a lot to be said for. I mean, I'm totally imperfect, and I will swear on occasion and do dumb things and stuff. But I think there's a lot to be said for being positive and trying to lift each other up. And I think that wholesome stuff has a good place in people's hearts. I would love to see your haul from LA Zine Fest, uh, Lauren. That would be fantastic.
Okay. Not to take the spotlight away from you or
Take
anything,
it
but it
away.
was it was an
I don't
awesome
necessarily
event.
like being in the spotlight.
It was an awesome event. Ziba was there probably earlier than when I was there, because judging from your photos and videos, it was not as crowded and sweaty as when I was there. It was hot in there. Um, I got, hi voters, let's get registered. Um, and it's from art students at Cal State LA.
Oh, so cool.
And I am starting graduate school at Cal State LA in August in political science. So I was totally psyched to see this. And then I met the art teacher who put it together. Lynn, I think it was Lynn Berman who's in there. And she's like, oh, I always want to get the poli-sci students and my art students together to do these kinds of things. And I'm like, I'm your girl. And not only did they have that like full on zine, which is like interactive, it's almost like a voting journal. It has like prompts and questions, and it's really nice. And this was for the 2022 election. Um, and they have these little like 4-page things for the 2024 elections coming up, which are more like a almost like a worksheet on like how to decide who to vote for and how to make sure you're registered and QR codes.
I like
So
the
one,
colors.
yeah, one for LA County, one for state of California. So like anybody in any county could basically just copy this format. Um, okay, I won't show you everything because I'll be here all night. Um, Ground Game LA, which is a pretty badass organization, has get to know your city council member, and it's snarky, man. Um, and it should be because some of these people are deserve it. Um, and a whole really substantive zine on 4118, which is like clearing homeless encampments, which is very big issue. Um, and a lot of other stuff. And there were really cool, great people there. And this is not from the Zine Fest, but I think it's a great format for people like us. Um, it's playing cards in a little teeny box, like a playing card box, and this is called Little Feminist. And the art is so cute. Um, some of the people they picked are not what I would consider feminists, but that's okay. Marie Curie, Rosa Parks, Gloria Steinem actually looking like Gloria Steinem. I don't know that I would consider Queen Elizabeth I a feminist, but I could be persuaded. So, and it's just playing cards, and you could actually play cards with it, but you could make like, it's like, I think this is zine adjacent. Okay, that was fun. Thanks.
Did anybody else go yesterday? Oh no, Amanda, you hurt your foot.
Yeah, I don't know how I did it. I went to a comedy show the night before and had some adult beverages of well, I got home and I was in the kitchen and I don't know if I kicked something or what I did. Couldn't tell you, but I did something and I could barely walk on it. I have to limp around so I couldn't go.
That's a bummer. When is the next one?
John can tell you. Oh, and Aaron was there. And Aaron volunteered, and I see that Steph went. So let's hear from. Do you have a zine haul, John?
Uh, yeah, I have a bunch. I just want to really share two that were super cool. This one, if you're like mm, younger than or older than, well, I'll just show you what it is. If you're older, you know what TV Guide was, right? And so nowadays, this doesn't exist on the newsstands and supermarkets, but it used to be there all the time. And this guy does kind of like a spoof of TV Guide, but it's really involved. I mean, that's how thick it is. And he's got this one is all about based uh, revolves around the theme of like supernatural stuff. So he has reviews of all these different shows and old ads from old TV guides that he puts in this fake TV guide. Very cool. I couldn't believe how involved it was. The guy says he spends like a year on each issue, and there are maybe 3 issues. So that was a really cool find because I like text-based zines that I can spend a lot of time reading. And then, but in terms of design, this one blew my mind because it's so simple. Okay, so this is just like this is an art zine, some printed. This I guess would be like 5 by 7 sheets of paper, maybe 10 of them, and then really elegant, uh, professionally printed. But the best part is this: how he does the binding. It's just sheets of paper. He puts 2 staples, one there to bind the sheets of paper together, and then wraps a piece of tape over it and cuts the tape off at the edge. And it's just like maybe the most elegant little zine that I saw yesterday at LA Zine Fest. I bought it just because I want to copy his thing. I'm going to make a zine just like this, but it's going to have, different content in it. So those are the two that I really wanted to share. It was wild yesterday. There were so many people. I went through maybe a third of the tables really methodically, stopping and talking to each zine maker and looking at their stuff. And then I was just kind of exhausted. After that, I just went around seeing the people I know and saying hi and then random stuff. And it was kind of hot, so I left. But it was great. There was Ziba. How long was that line? I mean, it was been like at least half-hour wait just to get into the building.
Yeah, there was a line to keep the inside population down so there's no like fire hazards. So they were letting people in as people came out. And unfortunately, they're waiting in the hot sun to get into a hot building. So that's the
But
first time.
it was it was awesome. It was the
Oh,
energy.
yeah.
It was so positive, and I really liked that space. I liked all the light in the space and everything. That was really cool. It's just like I think if you guys had it in May, like you usually do, been as big of a factor. It's because you ended up having to do it at the end of June. I think.
Yeah, summertime
Just
heat.
a comment. Uh-huh.
Oh,
Awesome.
yeah. Aaron volunteered. Aaron, did you pick up any zines?
I'll
Do you want to share your zine haul of one? I only got one zine as well. And that's because they gave it to me to add to the library as they were leaving. I said, oh, yeah. Oh, Song to the Siren. Nice. Oh, you don't have it with you. That's okay. What about Steph? Steph, that was your first Zine Fest? Oh, nice. A shirt too. Steph, did you get any zines to share? Or anyone else that went? Oh, I know Amanda didn't go. Oh, you don't have your hall here with me. Well, if anyone wants to talk about Zine Fest. Oh yeah, and then there's the link in the chat for the next local zine event. So we're in June. We just finished LA Zine Fest. So next is, yeah, Zine Pavilion actually. So that's the next Zine Fest thing, which I know you'll be at, Bill, for Saturday. Oh, and then John is tabling as a Zine Pavilion tabler. Oh yeah, we do need a Zine Fest in a fancy air-conditioned hotel. That would be nice. Thank you.
So for those of you who make zines, like what types of subjects do you focus on? Don't everybody go at once.
Well, I know June made one today. If you want to talk about the zine you made today.
I made a zine today at work. Sorry, can you hear me now? I made a zine today at work about why people should get library cards or how to get one. So it's so you want a library card and then um like how to fill out the application, what you need to bring, um like if you need a signature, and then what you can do with a library card. And then the back has the website and instructions. Oh, I didn't watch Seinfeld, but I know the saying like so you think you can blank or like so you want to be a president or something. And so I just thought it would be funny to say so you want a library card. Um, but yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Yeah, it's exciting to use zines at work as library employees to make zines to hand out. Do you do that, Bill, or you keep it separate from work?
I've done some things like we when I was in the like a grant program back when I was a branch manager, we created a little zine to go with the program that our government documents librarian like cataloged and put into the San Diego Public Library collection, which was awesome. But basically, it was a zine about like early literacy and the importance of play. And I worked on it with a teen volunteer who was really, really good and basically took all my doodles and colored everything and put it all together and did the layout and made everything look really nice. So that's been like an example of some time that I got to turn zine making into work life. That was really cool.
And from what I remember, SDPL has the collection for in-house use. They don't leave the building or they don't circulate, or did they change that? Did they catalog them and circulate them?
I think it's in-house, but it's been a little while since I've been part of the SDPL fam, so that could have changed since I was there.
Yeah, I know I visited their zine library, but that was back in 2015 maybe, and they have their zines on Tumblr too. I'll find their website for SDPL. It's like SDPL Zine Library or something.
Ooh, Steph. So I have a little free library, and I've actually put some zines out into it. I live in a neighborhood that doesn't have a lot of little free libraries or whatever, so my wife and I will go and we'll buy just like a whole bunch of like dollar books at Book Off or something, and then just stock it. And then she gets a lot of donations and things at her library from other people who are like don't know what to do with their old books. They're like, here, you take them. So I totally agree that it's like a book swap and not a library. I would love to see a zine about that. So you should do it.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I do like them. I love the idea of the book swap, and there's one not far from where I live, and there's also one that has a similar idea, but it's jigsaw puzzles. So you can do a jigsaw and put it in there when you finish. And I love the idea and everything. It's just don't use the word library.
That's cool that you've done that, John. I found some really interesting stuff. I get a lot of the Watchtower in my little free library. I get that gets put in there a lot, but there's been some really cool things that people have put into. And I'm always like, wow, like where did this even come from? So it's pretty cool. Oh, Aaron, that's so cool, little free blockbuster. Lauren, what does your husband create books about?
Um, he has a children's book about it's called Jimmy's Car Wash Adventure, and it's about a unionizing campaign at car washes, which is something he was involved with. And it's how we met. Um, and he has another book called I can't remember what it's called. That's a bad wife. But it's about how he combines his Franciscan Catholic spirituality with uh, social activism. I can't remember what it's called.
That's your homework is to
It's my homework.
remember. Yeah.
Don't tell him, okay?
Has anybody else or anybody here like never created a zine but want to do so? Or is everyone here like got their hands deep in the zine making game? Ooh, what is that one?
I made a zine at actually an event at a library, Westwood Library, with people Zeba probably knows, Sarah, and the other gal's name I cannot remember. I remember exactly what she looks like. And it's
Christine.
the, yes.
Christina.
And I made the Buddhist Four Noble Truths. And
Ah,
this the number of pages is perfect for this because there's a cover and then the first, second, third, fourth, but the fourth one kind of links directly to the Eightfold Path. So you can make like a double truck with the Eightfold Path and then the back cover.
that is so awesome.
Yeah. And I've made some for my Buddhist meditation. I made copies for my Buddhist meditation group.
It looks like it's did you use like What did you put for on the cover there?
You know what? These were stickers that they had in their
Stickers.
stash,
Ah, okay.
and they're gorgeous.
Yeah, I see. It's so like colorful and it
Yeah,
fits perfectly.
yeah. So it's mostly stickers, and some of it was just like pretty things from either their collage stash or my collage stash.
Is that your handwriting?
This is my handwriting. It's
It's really
kind of a,
nice.
oh, thanks. And the numbers were also in their stash. And I think that's actually what got me to do it. It's like I just saw those like stickers like with numbers, and I was like, oh, okay. So these are the numerals themselves are the stickers. So sometimes you just have to like kind of go with the flow and not have a plan, and just the materials that are put in front of you will inspire you to do a thing.
Yeah, that's really awesome.
Thank you.
So, as part of your meetings, do you guys like get together and like create zines as a group, or
We did last time, so I kind of leave it up to the guest zine makers. So last time we had Cindy Matias or Cinditas Tianditas. So Cindy made a little prompt for us. It was like, tell
oh
us about you. And it's like, what's your favorite color? What's your birthday? So
man,
let's,
I should have come with a prompt. That's
or you
terrible
can
that
make
I
one up right now if you want to.
yes. Well, to go with my love of video games, you should do a zine about the first game you ever played and how it had an impact on your life if it did in any way, or the first game you played that had some type of impact in your life. I'll put it into the chat. How about that? And then I'll sound like all eloquent. Um, and it could be, it doesn't have to be a video game. It could be like a board game or card game or something. If I can spell, let's see. And then if you want to email me photos, you can do that. You can share with me and Ziba. Do they have your email, Ziba?
Yes, I spam everyone every 2 weeks about who's on the Zine Club. So
There we go. How's that? That's some on the spot inspiration there. Oh, you can't go wrong with Super Mario. That's one of the all-time replayable games. Can always it's like meditation almost playing it.
I still haven't passed it or beaten it.
It's all about just being in the moment and enjoying it. Yeah, Space Invaders and Asteroids. Those are both fantastic. Um, this might be blasphemy, but I actually prefer the Atari 2600 or VCS if you want to get hardcore versions of Space Invaders and Asteroids to the arcade versions. I love like the colors of the asteroids in the Atari 2600 version, and the Space Invaders are so cool looking in the 2600 version too. Oh, pole position. Man, I blew up so many times in that game trying to drive and running into billboards and stuff. It was the worst. Whoa, let's see. That's cool that that little free library has its own Instagram page. Ooh, duck hunt. So did you know, and this is something I didn't know until I was older, that you can control the ducks with the controllers? I
Oh,
know. Fun fact, huh?
yeah, we
So
played
Lauren,
that with the gun. That was fun.
yeah, that was great with the zapper as the official name. So Lauren, what does your poker face look like?
Well, I have no poker face. That's the whole point of it. It's like
So
people,
is that it right there? Like you
yeah,
get a
it's
good
like,
hand and you smile.
yeah, or like if you guys are talking about all these video games and I'm like, I have never heard of any of these. Yeah, people at work would make fun of me when I would turn off my camera during meetings because then it's like, that's how we know you're pissed off because you've
Ah,
turned off your camera. We're on to you because I didn't want them to see me rolling my eyes and whatever else I do involuntarily with my face.
so when I was in LA yesterday, I went to this store called World 82. I don't know if anybody's heard of it. It's in Little Tokyo in the little mall area. Um, but tons of retro games. It was fantastic. And I like to buy a lot of like weird Japanese games that like I don't know how to play very well and just muddle my way through them. So I got one of where it's like Pokemon, except instead of catching Pokemon um, with Pokeballs and stuff, you have like a camera and you catch ghosts. It's pretty cool. I haven't figured out that much, but I was playing it last night and I think my wife was trying to go to sleep and the music I think was bothering her and she's just like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I gotta try these out." But yeah, that's like my idea of a good time.
Do you collect video game consoles?
I do. I don't know how many I have, but I have like everything from like the Atari 2600 and Nintendo Entertainment System to like I have a PS5 and uh like a Neo Geo, stuff like that. Um Aaron, it's funny you should say a zine with just consoles because I created a little mini zine that I sent out to people with a bunch of like fake consoles in it and rewards for the Raroo Fun system, which is my imaginary video game system that I come up with. Um, favorite game now, probably I've been playing Tetris Effect a lot. I don't know if you've ever played that, but it's very beautiful. Um, I've been playing it on Switch because I have like a space in my house that I call the bunker, which is like we have like a cellar in our house, and I put a couch in down there and a couple TVs and stuff. But I put like a nice surround sound speaker system, and it's like just awesome to be in there with the lights out and the game going. And Lauren, your Buddhist zine kind of makes me think of that game because there's a lot of very like Buddhist type levels in the game. It's very beautiful. So I definitely recommend it. And it's Tetris. So it's like you know how to play that.
Yeah, I have that game and it has like a crystal one, like the different levels. There's like a seven. Yeah, I like the Buddhist one. And then there's like a Native American level and there's like a
Yep.
dolphin level and it's all weird images and sounds and it's like a rave or like a club like.
Yeah. I would love to get the soundtrack on vinyl, but I looked it up recently and I was like, oh, it's so expensive. But I love listening to records and hanging out in my little man cave. Yes, the bunker. So done a lot of music recording down there and stuff like that. It's fun.
Well, in our last 5 minutes, if anyone has any last questions or any shares of the zines, I just feel like we're always so creative every time we meet and talk. I'm like, oh, what great ideas everyone has and what great zines everyone has. And if anyone here hasn't made a zine yet, I hope you're motivated and inspired. And then you can add it to the library and we can check it out, just like I did with Bill's.
Yeah, I'd love to hear if anybody reads it, what you think of the journaling book. If you um, you know, like get inspired at all to keep a journal as a result of it, or to do some drawing, or if you're like, this is terrible, like I might not want to hear that too much, but I will take any and all feedback. Oh, where can you get it? You can get it from me. Shoot me an email and I'll just send you one. Yeah, send me your I put my email into the chat. Just shoot me an email and I'm off. I think I'm off this Friday, so I can probably even mail it out then. I still have some copies left, yeah. And yes, lapl.org/zines. Don't forget that we've got one in the collection there.
Yeah, right now it's in a generic catalog, but soon it'll be title specific and you can search it and place a hold and have it sent to any library in the city.
That is so cool. Thanks, John. I appreciate the kind words. This was super fun. I can't believe that you do this type of program like every 2 weeks. Like, how cool. It's making me jealous and thinking that I need to start something like this at Carlsbad, but I don't know if I can match the lofty heights that Ziba has set here. This is incredible.
No, go for it. The more the merrier. Yeah, we started it during the pandemic, I believe, through the Hollywood branch.
Okay.
And then it transitioned to me when they left the Hollywood branch. And
So Ziba, I heard some scoops about you.
what
I
was
heard that
that?
you used to work for the county library system in San Diego and you used to work at Encinitas.
That was my favorite location. It still is my favorite library I've ever worked at because you could see the ocean from the window, so you were on vacation at work.
Yeah, when I worked with San Diego County for a few years, that was one of my branches that I got to work with. And every time there was a sunset, I would like run outside and take a photo because it was just so beautiful.
Yeah, and I lived in Long Beach at the time, but I would drive an hour and 15 minutes to sub there once a month because I wanted to go to that library. So it was like a vacation day.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't, who was I talking to that mentioned, now I can't remember who it was, but I was mentioning this program and they're like, oh yeah, of course. I know Ziba.
Yeah, that was a beautiful library. I got that job from the California Library Association annual conference when it was in Long Beach in 2012. They were doing interviews at the conference, and I said, sure, I'll interview. And then later they said, oh, do you want a job? I was like, oh, I have a job, but I'll sub if you can take a sub. So that's how I got that one. So
That's so cool.
yeah, I didn't want to move. Sorry. I like LA County. Well, living in Long Beach, city of Long Beach, and then working in city of LA. And before that, Orange County. But I like to visit, so I'll be in San Diego this week, Wednesday.
Okay.
And I'll
Yeah, I'm gonna
see.
go Saturday, so I'll look for me walking around looking lost and having no friends and be like, hey, it's Bill.
If you have extra zines, put them in the zine pavilion because we need zines
Ooh.
to give away to potential zine libraries.
Okay, I'll bring some.
Thank you. And thank everyone. Now it's 5 o'clock. Thank everyone for being here and sticking with us the full hour. And thank you, Bill, for telling us all about your creativity. And I'm very inspired. So
Yeah, this was great. Thank you all so much, everybody. It's such a welcoming environment and good vibes. So I appreciate being able to spend an hour with all of you. So thank you so much.
bye.
Bye. Yeah, and if you want a copy of the journaling zine, just email me.